What is up, shakers and groovers? Shit Chat Disco here. I am with the one, the only, the techno lord, Lotnnic. How are you, my dude?
I'm fantastic, Jaguar. How are you?
Oh, mate. Fantastic. Now, I just want to start off by saying thank you very much for bringing in, how's the ASMR there?
Whiskey.
So thank you very much for bringing that in.
You're welcome. I watched a few others and I saw everyone always bought you gifts. So I bought you the gift of getting drunk.
The greatest gift of all. The greatest gift of all. Now, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in today. I'm super hyped to have Lotnnic on the show. Thanks heaps for coming on, my dude.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All good. Now, how's isolation been going? Obviously, you work full time and stuff, but
yeah, man. Look, it hasn't changed a great deal for me. I've been working pretty full on still at my regular day job.
Yeah.
My real job. We'll call it that.
The job that means you can do music.
So I was kind of a bit jealous when I was watching a few others. I think Taglo was on here and he's like, yeah, I've had all this downtime, we're making music, and I'm like, damn you, Taglo. Nah, good on him. That's great, but hasn't changed a whole heap for me, other than obviously not being able to play out and about, which is I think we're all really missing. Yeah,
definitely, my dude. It's been a struggle. Like, I think everyone's commented on the social aspect of it, because that's the biggest part of, I think, the music community in general, is just getting out to hang out with your homies.
For sure, man. Just sharing music and just seeing those familiar faces every week that make those weekends worth living, eh?
They make them. Yeah. Now, we haven't had much to do with each other. We only really met when I was playing at Taboo, and I was playing this Mad Joys track, and you came in and peered on over the booth and just said...
and I walked back home, I was like, hey, my dude, I like this, it's good.
And I think that's a lot of the reason why I wanted to have you on the show, because it's so positive to have fellow DJs or artists swing by and just pop in and not just be in the corner, like, snarking at you.
Yeah, I hate that kind of stuff. I think... there's plenty of that in the world, so it's just support each other, and I've always I love to be somewhere and there's a DJ and they're just vibing, getting into it, and you know they're loving it, and even if it's not the music you're normally into, but they're in the zone, they're having a good time, they're killing it, other people are having a good time. Yeah, why not?
It's all positive.
Yeah.
Now, you did actually come up to me and you said, "Man, this is a cool track, but have you heard the original?" And I was like, "No, man, I haven't heard the original."
But have you?
So I came home and I downloaded that track and I put it in my low key sets.
How good is it?
Oh, mate, totally nothing like.
It's so cool when you hear something and then you realize it actually came from somewhere else, and you go back through and you go on like whosampledwho.com and then you find out where it actually came from.
And it's 6 songs before that one.
And it's always some super cool thing that some really talented person did back in the 60s or 70s, and then we just put our bleep loops over it and everyone dances on the dance floor.
An actual musician split it over the track.
But like trumpets and actual, wind instruments and stuff playing like that song, and then it's like just a 4-beat loop. Yeah, 4-beat loop that you've got off loopmakers.com. Yeah, but loopmakers.com is a good site.
It is, actually.
Shout out to loopmakers.
Shout out to loopmakers. Now, how long have you been DJing for, my dude?
Oh, that'll get me in trouble. Hey, it's early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Yep.
I think I just got into it as a kind of a hobby. Like probably most people. I loved music, house music at the time, and I was overseas in Canada, living in Canada.
Yeah.
And if my mum's watching, she'll kill me. But I spent my house deposit on a set of decks. Because it's done the whole gap year thing. We go overseas, you snowboard and work in the clubs and stuff. And I bought
in Whistler or
in Whistler, like everyone else.
Yeah, I had to.
Excuse me. And then I bought a set of decks, and it was good fun. There goes my house deposit, but I had a great time.
Yeah, that's sick.
My mum killed me. Like, she was so mad.
He's so joking. It didn't really happen.
Sorry, Mum.
And look at him now, Mum. Wednesday nights on the music that made you.
Whiskey.
So, early 2000s, you said?
Early 2000s. No. Well, no, sorry. Early 2000s was when I finished school, started getting into house music, and then I was actually in Canada 07.
Okay.
yeah, 07, 08, and then that's when I kind of got into the proper that's when I bought decks.
Yeah.
And then started getting into it then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So how old do you reckon you were when you did play your first gig?
Like DJing?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely in Canada.
Yeah.
I think we were just throwing house parties, and I was actually fortunate enough. I actually never really intended to get into clubs. That wasn't. I just loved music and sharing music, downloading music, finding cool tunes, and we're having a kick on at ours, as tends to happen a lot of the time. And there was a club owner there that I was working for at the time in security, and he's like, "Dude, I like this. Do you want a spot in the club?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds really cool."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, all right, I'll give you the last hour of one night, and if it goes well, then you can keep playing."
Yeah.
And it went well, and he gave me the spot. And then the rest of my season there, I was playing quite a few gigs. And
what was the club in? Can you remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Savage Beagle.
Oh, the Savage Beagle.
Isn't that a great name?
That's wild.
The Savage Beagle, yeah. But he owned a few places, so I was fortunate enough that when I played there, I got
kind of
to
opened up
a few other of his other gigs, and then they kind of opened up to Ministry of Sound because he would do a lot of like touring and that in the village, and a lot of opportunity came out of that, which was just launched me into my love for playing gigs and
performing and playing
and just being around people. And
that's sick. So currently you hold a residence at Elsewhere.
Yes, sir.
Which is fantastic. Saturday nights, right?
Saturday nights.
Yeah.
With Captain Give.
Even though Captain Give, man, I've
Captain
been
Give.
cutting shapes to Captain Give since I was 18.
He's a true icon of the Gold Coast scene for sure.
Yeah, I dare say my phone has been Shazammed once or twice to that fine music.
Yeah, and that's the biggest compliment. You know this, right?
Yeah,
when you play somewhere and then someone comes up to you or you see it,
the
Shazamming, and you're like, yeah, that's
on these ones, like
oh, you're the auto Shazam guy in the back pocket with just the microphone tip hanging out.
Yeah. I forget what song it is, but he sometimes finishes on this disco track, and it's just such a vibe. Like, and for a lot of people out there, you don't realize that Elsewhere used to finish at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it used to go to 5.
And you'd walk outside with the sun coming up, and after this beautiful disco tune.
Oh yeah.
Memories. Now all you've got's indie or GC600 for that.
Yeah, I think the clubs are allowed. They're allowed a few nights a year now to 5. I think extended hours.
Yeah,
I think we did that on like the birthday, and there's a few nights a year you can do that.
No, it's always a vibe there, my dude. Now, like you said, DJing Canada kind of gave you that itch.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you know any other instruments growing up, or
Heaps?
Yeah,
heaps. Again, sorry if Mum's watching. It's a little bit of like slave labor when I was a kid, because
that's common.
Which obviously I'm very very fortunate and grateful for now looking back. But yeah, I used to play practice an hour every morning and an hour every night from when I was 3 years old right through to year 12 when I'd say I retired from sort of classical music, and that was all piano, and played a bit of sax. Well, played a lot of sax in some jazz bands.
Man, that is radical. That is so cool.
Went on some tours and did some things.
Well, don't just brush. Bro, let's dive on in.
Take a left turn back there. All right, here we go.
That's sick.
It was super fun. So I'm classically trained concert pianist, and I used to teach it and do all that. And then obviously, like when I was playing classical music, my real love was in. I really liked the saxophone. I didn't mind the piano. Like it was okay, but I wasn't super into the classical piano. I was really into the jazz and the sax. True story. I even played some jazz flute for a little bit.
That is so epic. I'm kind of waiting for you to just pull it out.
Actually, someone please tell me you played. I'm gonna turn this around for a second. You played some sort of.
Oh man, when I was growing up, I played a bit of piano, but nothing near the level you did. Like, just parents bought me a keyboard, and I think I got to the extent of the Pink Panther.
That's a good song, man.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, and then I was pretty done. Play guitar, but nothing to the standard that you played. My family and me were more interested in the sports side. So I feel like my dad pushed me more that way.
Here's a funny story, right? So I got to grade maybe 7 or 8, so what, 12, 13?
Yeah.
And I was really into soccer. I loved soccer as a kid, and I played forward and goalie. It was it's too weird.
Yeah, two totally different.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was
either
good
I
at both
save
of
them
those.
or I score them.
And I still to this day remember my mum saying to me, "Righto, Clint, you can choose one of two: soccer or piano."
Yeah.
Soccer
Yeah.
or piano. I said soccer. She goes, "Yeah, no, we can do piano."
Oh man.
So I couldn't continue my that would have been probably pretty lucrative being a pro soccer player.
Yeah, it would be.
If
It
I
would
got
be.
there.
100%. Man. But obviously, best intentions for you. I think sometimes I've spoken about it on previous weeks that when you're growing up, you're like, oh, I can play the piano. That's so boring, or the sax. Whereas now, you look back at it when you're making music, when you see people perform, and you're just like, I am so envious.
I'm super grateful for it. Obviously, it was a heap of amount of time and effort and money that went into that, lessons and grand pianos and all that kind of stuff. So obviously, I look back and I'm very grateful. We just got a piano at ours, so starting to get back into it, which I haven't really touched a piano in that sense for 20 years.
And does it feel just like it did?
18. Well, here's the little thing. We may have been kicking on the weekends, and I busted out a little bit of the old ivories and gave him a little tickle.
Oh, that's fantastic.
No, probably not if you're the neighbours, but it felt good at the time.
I reckon the most extent I could go to now is the intro to Holy Grail. You know, just do, do, do,
I
do.
reckon you can get back to Pick Bertha with just a little bit of effort.
Yeah, I find it so fascinating how people learn instruments when they were younger and they might have been that in it. But like I said, it kind of comes 360 and now.
Yeah.
When there's guys on the yacht club and I'm DJing and I've never met them before, and they'll come on and they'll be like, "Oh, I'll just start here, kick off here," and then they're just into it.
Oh yeah. Oh, and my brother and sister are super talented as well, and they picked up. I think we all picked up from each other as we went on, you know. And my sister's got, I don't have it, but she has like perfect pitch. She'll be like A sharp, you know,
that's out of control.
D flat. I'm like,
yeah.
Where are these notes? What are you doing?
All I have is
I can find the note, but
I've tuned in key. Or
yeah, no, she's pretty cool. But look, it's a great thing to have as you get on, and obviously with the music and producing and making stuff, I've obviously got my head well around keys and notes and progressions and chords and all that. So that's
all the serious side of it, not just hearing something you like and
the practical stuff that's kind of helps you to make that stuff.
Put it together.
Yeah.
So. No, that's sick, dude. That's hats off to you, man. I'm very impressed by that.
I don't really talk about it much, but it's a big part of my.
Well, shout out to mum and dad for pushing that.
Shout out to mum and dad for making me practice 2 hours every day.
And he could have been a soccer player, but he
could have been a pro like Ronaldo.
He could have been, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
The
could have been sitting in my mansion shooting this thing by now. You never know.
Never know. Now, obviously, growing up, you played different types of music, live instruments. Then you were over in Canada. What kind of music would you say you were playing then when you were DJing? Like obviously, music changes over time, but
I probably like most people, I went through a few different phases and kind of found what I really, really love. But I think that changes with time too. In terms of DJing, I think like just the early days was just those old. Like the old Ministry of Sound. I know it's like cliche.
No, it's not. It's fantastic. Clubbers Guides.
But back then,
Session.
there's no real internet. There's no real, there's a CD. You go down to Sanity and you buy a CD, and it's the Ministry of Sound Clubbers Guide 2002, and you put it on, and and you're like, I can't wait till the weekend.
100%. Like put your hands up for Detroit.
Yeah.
All those bangers.
Yeah, it was all that.
You had to mix out 16 bars before, so the crossover didn't begin.
Yeah. There was a fair bit more to it. So that was kind of the stuff I really got into. And then in those early days playing in Canada, like I think as you get on, you obviously learn a lot more about opening and styles and how you should warm up and that. And all I knew was this Ministry of Sound stuff. So there was actually one night I played opener for DJ Sneak in Canada, which was, looking back now, I'm like, holy crap, that's huge. And I guess what I would play now would be very different to back then.
Because when you're younger, growing up, you're like, I've got to impress them. I've got to get this like fire coming.
I don't think it was even to impress anyone or that. It was just, it's just you don't understand your understanding of certainly house music and sort of it's like this
and then, building the evening. Yeah,
and then you grow up and you understand all the different styles and how you'd build a night and how you'd weave in and out of different things, and that's a really cool thing about Elsewhere is that we sort of journey through a few different genres. It's not. You don't just come in and it's techno all night or it's tech house or it's this or that. It's there's a bit in there for everyone. There's some disco, there's some indie, there's some you sort of work your way to some old classic, Australian anthems. There's Kylie Minogue, and everything in between, right?
We could just talk about them all night.
I've heard there was a murder on the dance.
Yeah, that's my go-to track. I play that in every set. And then I've even had people now that like yell at me too early. I'm like, guys, just chill.
Come on, guys, it's 6 p.m. and you've already had your entree.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go from here?
So how would you describe your genre now?
Now I just love music. Like I just love house music so much. There's so many different genres I actually love. I'd find it hard to choose one. I don't think it's no secret. I absolutely love techno, in all versions of it.
If you haven't seen his Instagram, every time he goes past the Techno Factory in Burleigh, I think it is.
When I'm the passenger and someone else is driving.
Yeah.
I get up my Snapchat.
Yes, films the techno side.
Dude, I love techno, but I think playing it Elsewhere is really it's grown my love absolutely for a lot of disco and what they call indie dance, I guess, on Beatport and Afro house without the vocals, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Deep and dark. I go in and out of so many sort of genres, but that's kind of what we sort of deliver. I don't play so much tech house sort of space, but everything just about else is not off limits. If it if a good song is a good song.
Yeah, 100%. Great answer.
Yeah,
there's no right answer.
If a good song comes out and you vibe, like drum and bass, love that stuff as well.
I think the big thing is knowing the right song to play to bring back the mood, to then still have 4 hours left in the night. Which is, like you said, it's so hard to kind of pick your genre when you want everyone into it and involved, but you don't want to be sitting there playing tech house.
Yeah, you're trying to push it, but then you got to pull it back a little bit. And you got to, you don't go to dinner and then they just bring out the big steak first of all. You're like, all right, I'm done.
That's very true.
Build up through it, like this whiskey. How you going with your whiskey?
Mate, I'm just cruising.
Well, it's about time.
Just letting everyone know. Nothing happened then off camera. Just ignore that.
We're not sponsored.
We're not.
No, I bought you because I always see people come here with gifts. What was I watched a little bit of Kai.
Yeah.
Did he give you a gift? No, someone gave you a shirt.
Yeah. So Bill Durry gave me a shirt.
Yeah, he gave me a shirt. That's pretty cool.
Stevie Z bought me olive oil from his parents. Yeah. Where they live in Sparta.
That is cool, right?
And obviously my housemate Mitch is a chef, so he's just been smashing that. Gets on the message to Stevie Z, yo man, I'm gonna need 2 liters of that.
Yo, can you hook your boy up?
Yeah. And then another friend bought me cookies to bake. And I made
cookies.
Yeah, actual cookies.
Yeah, actual cookies.
So I baked them up. They were delicious.
Yeah.
But anyway, where did the name Lotnnic come from? What's the vibe there?
All right. So this is so simple.
Okay.
No, you go. And
have there been any other previous aliases?
Have you been doing your research?
I haven't, but I'm sure there's some bell ringers.
There has definitely been. We'll start with the precursor. So, my first DJ name was Credential, with a 1 on the end.
That's epic. Is that because like instead of an L, the 1? Yeah, nice.
Because I was super into Deadmau5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, 100%.
So I put because Clint and then last name Redman, I put the C with the red, so that's Cred, and then I just filled in the gaps and put a 1 on the end.
Man, I'm down with that.
Yeah, well, I was down with that for a little bit too.
Man, here's one for you. So my last name's Wilson, and when I was coming for my first DJ name, I was like, "Will listen." Like you will listen.
Oh, I actually really like that. Will listen.
Yeah, but Scrap
did
that
they?
one. No, oh no, I don't. No, they didn't.
It's disappointing.
So
Shame on them.
yeah, shame on them. If only they knew now that I had to come up with some name with swear words in it to make people notice. So, how'd you come up with Lotnnic?
So Lotnnic is it's actually just an anagram of my full name.
Oh, perfect.
Which is Clinton.
Yeah.
It's just my name rearranged.
Oh, lovely. Well, that's simple.
I wanted to separate myself from Credential and what I was doing there, because that was kind of like, we talked about, you go through your phases and you grow up, and I wasn't sort of feeling what I was doing anymore with that name, and I wanted to do some other stuff, and I started really getting into techno and a few other vibes that I didn't really play a lot as Credential, and I was like, I need to just get rid of that one.
Sometimes it's better to just cut and go.
The Dead Mouse 5. Is that is that copyright? Can we say those things?
We can say whatever you want, mate.
So and that's where Lotnnic came from.
That's cool. It's
just hard to get people. You know what? You did a very good job. There's two ends.
Yeah.
So I thought about getting rid of one end.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because they got to think about it.
Keep the end.
Oh, double. Oh,
yeah.
I get it. Because it's the now, we just had someone shout you out there saying your genre would be pretty much if Eric Prince was if Eric Prince was a genre, that would be it.
That's my very good friend, Just Jesse.
It is too. Shout out Just Jesse, one of our previous guests on one of the first seasons.
I've watched a few of these a little bit, but I watched all of hers because I think she's fantastic.
It was very interesting, Jesse. She opened up, which was good. A lot of some of the people just haven't been able to get the gist of it, and she really was just just straight on in, which is very important.
Well, the heroin you took before the session probably helped her open up. That's what she said. I mean, I heard that from her, not you, obviously.
Okay, looks like we're gonna get shut down. So anyway, so if you had to play a song, or you had a song that you could really say what your genre is, or what do you reckon it'd be?
Oh man, I guess just things that I'm vibing at the moment, and that's like that. I'm really getting into that outside of what I already love. That old ravey 130, 135 sort of breakbeat style.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like it's kind of. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it's kind of coming back a little bit. And listened to some sets of Octa Octa with my mate Ollie, and you just sort of like it's relentless. Like it just keeps going. So I think. I don't know. It'd be hard to define me. I've always sort of thought, like, I guess I look up to people like Seth Troxler and Scream and those sort of guys.
Yeah,
they've always been my sort of motivation. And
Scream.
You don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Like 1 minute they could be playing The Boys Are Back in Town.
Yeah.
And then the next minute they're playing an opera classic.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did we get from there to there? I don't know, but I'm loving it.
Even some of the music, like with Scream, he goes like hard, and then he releases that cool slow disco remix of Need You.
Yeah. and that's one of the hard things I'm sort of finding at the moment when, for yourself, like when you're trying to make music and you're like, what is my sound? You're like, I love this and I love that and I love that. So kind of be making a few different things. And,
I think everyone as well pushes you to find a genre.
Yeah, just be the tech guy.
Yeah.
Or just be the minimal guy. Or just be the progressive guy. So I like a bit of this and a bit of that.
One group that I think does it really well, and it's totally commercial. I know people will be like, it's so commercial. Peking Duck. I don't care what anyone says. All of their songs, they're tunes. They're not genres.
Just hands up in the air.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like they really epitomise the no genre barrier.
And that's what, And at the end of the day, it's about the music. It's not about trying to do this or do that. It'd be cool.
As long as you're happy, you're happy.
Yeah, it's good music. It's good music, right?
Now, 100%. Now, going back, high school. Obviously, you're very classical.
Yeah.
Soccer superstar.
No.
Number 9 on the back.
Soccer superstar.
Now, what kind of music were you listening to then?
So when I was in high school, the three bands that stand out to me, or the four bands that stand out to me, and I think I was playing this on my mini disc at the time.
Shock? Anti-Shock?
Oh, always Anti-Shock for sure. Yeah. Korn, right? NoFX.
Yeah.
MXPX. And I used to go to a lot of swimming. I was a swimmer as well. I used to go to a lot of swimming carnivals, and I just remember always having NoFX and MXPX in my ears. And no doubt Grinspoon. A huge Grinspoon fan.
Yeah, I've seen them, I think, twice.
You're out.
I think at GC600 twice.
They
when
are,
and yeah, they put on the show.
absolutely phenomenal.
The
This is my favorite whiskey.
oh,
And
that's sweet, dude. Thank you. That sure is a heavy hand there.
well, there's no point having a light hand, is there? After all, it's a Friday.
Somewhere.
Is it not?
No, my Friday was 2 days ago.
Cheers, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, pleasure.
Yeah, Greenspoon, a huge, still huge Greenspoon fan. Every time they play or reunion for the 17th time,
You're there.
I'm there, the least front and center. Let's see if
real
let's
nice.
have a look at some comments. What's Jessie saying now?
I know we love rave bangers.
She said, "Love you guys. Excuse me." We love rave bangers. Bats.
What you tell? Look out for bats.
That's a Seth Croxall.
The old kick on
bats.
bats.
Yeah.
Now, listening to kind of like rock and roll indie kind of music, you reckon when you were in high school?
Yeah, well, obviously there was still the large classical influence.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of jazz bands.
Yeah,
back then
sick.
too.
Jazz meaning kind of like old classical kind of jazz music, or
Big
your
bands.
real big fish, or
big-
like yeah.
No, like big band
Yeah,
jazz music. You sent me a note like, what do you remember listening to when you were younger? And I don't know, maybe I fried too many brain cells from that time of my life. I was trying to think back, like, what do I remember outside of the normal, like Michael Jackson, Elton John, your parents are playing that kind of stuff. And then I had a real good think about it. And I remember being at my grandparents' house and they put on a vinyl, and I remember listening to this jazz band, and I still remember to this day, GRP All-Star Big Band. Go look it up, Spotify, they're fantastic.
Jump on it.
And I got my grandfather rip it to me on a tape cassette at the time. And I've probably still got that somewhere, but
Just letting everyone know, there are these little things about this big. It's like a big tape in it. About
you know what? Here's the thing, right?
Please tell us.
Not that this is all about me or anything, but have you been on eBay lately to see how expensive it is to buy an apparati to play a
cassette? No, I haven't.
Okay, well don't, because you'll be very upset rocking in the corner. Because I bought. I guess it's for the novelty, but there's some DJs called Octa, and they put out a mixtape recently, and I bought it on cassette. That's all. It was only released on cassette, and there was limited numbers, whatever. So I bought that, and it came to my house, like 4 months later, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. And I'm looking around my house, I'm like, I don't have a way to play
really?
cassette. So then I go online, and I'm actually like, Mum, do you have a... No, trying to find a cassette player, and I go online, and Walkman, Sony Walkman, dude, if you want a mint Sony Walkman, it's gonna cost you $1,500.
No, really.
It's gonna cost you $1,500.
Man, I was
I didn't pay that. Obviously, I bought a lesser crappy Walkman.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say I wanted to say lucky enough, but it's not lucky. But when my auntie passed, I inherited like 4 or 5 big like silver cassette playing Sony things and about 2,000 cassette tapes.
What's on them?
Oh mate, we don't have everything from Neil Diamond to Elton John, like
old school tapes,
old school tapes, like old like Beach Boys stuff from like first releases.
How good's that? Back on tape,
mate.
You know what you should do? You should buy a Walkman on eBay like I did.
Yeah.
And you should just it came with one of those cases. I'm gonna get a belt. So I'm gonna go to the gym and get a belt and feed a belt through and just sit it there.
Where's
get some old school headphones with the cable and it goes up into ear holes.
With an old school pump. Just
walk around the gym
instead of listening to my usual "Hello, this is Arnold."
Down. Up.
Now, can you remember what was the first kind of idea or moment you've had of music growing up as a kid?
Oh man.
And I mean deep, man. I mean, was it Thomas the Tank Engine? Was it your parents putting something on in the car?
Like I said, I'd really like to remember more, I think, but I don't know.
All that classical training must have pushed out the other.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, the brain only has so much room. Albert Einstein used to do this. So he wouldn't remember anyone's phone numbers because if it did, it would take up too much room. So
Albert Einstein.
Apparently.
Are there phones around there?
So there's, no one's going to fact check this, are they? Are they, Jack? All right. So there's only so much room. So if you put something in there, something's got to go out.
That's got a kick.
So even though I forgot the question.
It's got a nice kick.
No, I remember growing up with mum and dad, and I love Elton John. I remember Elton John and Michael Jackson always being on.
Yeah.
I wish there was a bit more to it, but that's the extent of kind of my upbringing was just Elton John, Crowded House, Cold Chisel,
Crowded
House, all that good stuff.
That Crowded House that just sticks with me is always there.
Midnight Oil.
Yeah.
You just put another song out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. No.
Yeah, no, it's on there.
Crowded House. I always think of the steps at the Sydney Opera House.
Someone runs up it, don't they?
Yeah, I think they did it for Live Aid or something like that. Maybe there was
He gets to the top and he does some boxing things.
I think that's Rocky. 1 through to 12.
Yeah, I don't
know. Now, did you get a chance to see the Elton John movie, that Rocket Man movie that came out?
I did.
What'd you think?
Absolutely loved it.
Oh, unbelievable.
Absolutely loved it. And I'd watch it again tonight with you, Jack. After this, I would watch it with you tonight.
61 Barton Avenue screen. That's actually not my address.
I seriously loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really creative and I loved the music, and it kind of like brought back a sense of nostalgia, just like remembering all that kind of music. And we went to this is not a word of a lie, right? We went to the Elton John concert when he was here recently. Yeah. And at least I'll tell you this is a lie. No, she won't. But he got to the end of the concert, right? And he does this thing. He's on the piano, and the piano moves around. It was absolutely fantastic. The guy's like, what's he, like 132 now?
I think so. If you carry...
You carry the one and
in gay years, that's like double because of how much fun they have.
That is fair.
It is. Look at how much fun he's had his whole life.
But they don't see a lot of sun, and they use a lot of SPF 15, so that would probably give you a little bit more lifespan.
Yes, 100%.
Anyway, so he was doing the thing, and the piano's moving around. The guy looks, honestly, he looks 40 years old. Yeah, he's got a sparkle vest on. He was doing his thing. It was super cool. And then right at the end, he comes over to the side of the stage, and he gets on this thing, and it's like this sort of finale thing, and he gets in this escalator, just goes off into the horizon or whatever.
Wow.
And everyone's like on there, wow. Elton, look at me. And I'm standing there, and he winks at me like this.
Stop it.
He points at me and winks. And right as that happens, I turn around and listen, oh my God, Elton, you winked at me. And she's bending over to pick up the brochure or something off the ground. She's like, oh, well, it's time to go. Better get my jacket.
And she missed it.
Elton just looked at me. But he's a true legend. That's skill, talent, skill, class, everything in between.
I always, obviously, hearing him, he's talented. But after watching the movie, and you see kind of what he went through.
The background and the story and how it all comes about.
It just hits you differently.
Oh, man, I want to watch that movie tomorrow night.
Yeah. And even when you hear the words to like the songs. And
the meaning behind it all.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, it's happy, it's all good. And then you're like, no. There's darkness in that heart.
I guess the music is expressing sad times.
Yeah, it's... Anyway, for anyone out there, we are heavily endorsing Rocket Man.
Watch Rocket Man.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Absolutely fantastic.
Now, you would have seen plenty of gigs, plenty of shows. Are there any, other than Rocket Man, other than Elton?
Now I've taken that answer away, haven't I?
that
have to think of another one.
That really stick with you.
There's so many. Look, I'm gonna narrow it down to two. One is literally every Grinspoon concert I've ever been to because they're just Phil Jameson as a front man is just absolutely amazingly engaging. Their music, they're just the vibe, the power, the everything about it is just phenomenal. I don't think I've ever been to one of their shows and I've walked away with dry panties. But my true love, my one and only, has got to be Eric Prydz. So any show where you're there watching him from start to finish and he's taking you on a trip, an absolute journey. We detoured our trip overseas, Elise and I, to go and see him at in New York, a club called Output. Yeah, and it's gone now, but a few years back, all Function One, complete the whole club is Function One.
For those that don't know, that's just like a crazy intense sound system.
It's a really good sound system, but the thing about it is, it doesn't need to be loud to be good. You can have a conversation like this, but still perceive the music as loud. But it's because it's so crisp and clear, and the clarity that it doesn't need. It sounds in your face, but it's actually not. It's not pounding like those usual sort of club speakers.
Which I think actually happens a lot more than it should.
Yeah.
A lot more than it
And
should.
you're just standing there, you're literally on a dance floor just talking like this. Hey,
Yeah.
man. Hey, man. How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's Just Jesse? You guys have fun together? That's good. And, so we went and saw Oak Ridge there. And then even just Ultra recently in Melbourne. I don't know if you got a chance to go. Watching him on that just absolutely mind-blowing production of a stage.
Yeah, I heard the sound quality and everything was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Standing in the middle of that for a few hours, just, unbelievable.
Where was that concert?
The place down in Melbourne with the horses.
The bowl?
No, the one with the
Flemington?
horses. Oh, that might be the one.
Yeah, Flemington or...
I think so. Flemington.
Yeah, Flemington.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that.
No, I won't. No.
Don't fact check anything I have to say.
That's right. That's why.
I think it was.
That is why you guys are here.
I think it was Flemington.
Because I always find it very interesting when people talk about a great production and sound. And I think the best one I've had here in Queensland would have to be Creamfields when it was near the airport. Because there was no sound issues. It was just like they could go for
the
it.
good stuff in.
Yeah. And I find that a lot of places you go to events, it's just they're going for louder is better.
I think, I don't know about you, Jack, but when you love music so much, you're always out there, you're always seeing shows, and there's just so many shows that stand out. I think like we're in New York, there's another one, and it was actually Deadmau5, but he was doing his test pilot techno thing that he does. Now, some of the loudest, clearest, like I couldn't go anywhere near the front. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But it was in a warehouse out in some wharf out somewhere in New York. Yeah. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, New York's a wild place. I spent a few days there with about this time last year, obviously before everything went down.
Crazy, dude.
And just it's just a lovely place.
So much fun.
I was over there. I think I was over there. I went back to DC for a while, and Wongo just landed in New York, and I was like, bro, I was like, I'm 2 hours away, man. I just want to come party. And even Cody, when I was in New York, Latour, who's one of Elsewhere's finest for many years.
Shout out to Latour.
He just got signed with Nervous, and then I saw him.
He's doing a really good job.
I think it was so good. I think that was the track, and he put up a screenshot, and I was in.
No. He just signed to
a new one.
Latour's gonna kill me. I saw it the other day. Justin J's label.
Dirty Bird.
No. We'll come back to that.
We'll
fact
anyway,
check that. Don't
sorry,
fact check anything.
I was talking about.
Sorry, back to Jack, the host of the show.
I was
Just Jack.
Just Jack. If you guys don't know that show, you should look it up. You might be. So anyway, I saw he put up the post about Nervous, and then I typed in Nervous's address, and it was like one street over, and I was in Soho. And I was like, man, do you want me to go see him for you?
Right there, Bunny Tiger. That's the label.
Yep.
It's not Sharam. It's
Sharam J. That's Bunny
Tiger.
not. It's not.
Good on him. Fucking, he's killing it.
Good on him, 100%.
Good on him.
Now, obviously, like I said, you've seen heaps of gigs. What about gigs you've played? Is there any that kind of stick with you? Been a moment where you've kind of been just so stoked.
So, literally every time I get to play it elsewhere, honestly, man, that the vibe, the people, the staff, the people get to work with around, the people that like give, that just they guide you, they help you, they work with you, they're your friends. Yeah, it's obviously the patrons, the people that are looking over the glass. It's an absolute vibe, dude. Every bloody time, it's something else.
Yeah.
So I guess to stand out in my mind, to answer your question, probably two really main gigs. That was actually the first time I ever played it elsewhere, which is back in 2014.
Yeah.
And it happened to, I think I opened, and it was, there's probably like 4 people on the dance floor going, this is cool. And they got me jump back on at the end, and I closed with Cody back to back. And
lovely.
And I broke my ankle on the same night in that club. And I was
we'll go back to that.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
And so that was one for sure. So that just always stands out to me as a very special time, because I remember going there for years and years and years and just thinking, man, this place is unreal. And I've been lucky enough to travel to a lot of clubs and places in the world, and there's not much vibe out there any better than that place. So that's definitely one. And the other one was one of my first real gigs when I was in Canada, and I got asked to play for Australia through the same guy that sort of got me involved in his clubs, and Kid Kenobi and MC Shawshock.
Yeah.
where we're playing Straight A.
Yeah.
And
Who
Straight
used to
A
be
in
platinum
Canada's...
regulars.
Yeah, Straight A in Canada's probably bigger than Straight A here.
Yeah.
And there's probably more Australians there than there are here anyway. So I was playing after them, and I was just like, I was a super young little eager beaver.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, my start time was whatever, and I'm standing there, I'm like, you know, when you're on the sideline, you're like, it's going to be my turn soon. And you
don't want
walk
to go
up
over,
there, you don't want to go,
Yeah.
is it my time?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not really. Oh, Superstar's on. And they just keep looking at me like, oh,
Yeah, one more, and you're like, Eddie, whatever, he's talking to me.
Look at me, boys. And one more song was one more song. But I eventually got on, and just, I remember that just being the absolute set of a lifetime.
Yeah, that's sick.
Unreal. I remember just looking around. I made this AC/DC remix thing to start off my whole set. I just produced it all, and just remember looking around and the crowd going wild. And it was great.
Nah, that's unreal, my dude. Nah,
sticks there in your head, right? How about you? Tell us about your tell us a memorable time, Jack. In your
I'll just to be honest, man.
number one. What's the number one?
Far out. I've got so many little number ones that I've really enjoyed lately.
Yeah.
There's been some sick times on the yacht.
That yacht looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's such.
My friend's dad built the yacht.
Yeah. Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was working on it first when I first on there. Yeah,
It's crazy.
man. It's a great day.
Just building just like I'm gonna build this thing, and it's gonna.
I saw pictures, but the way they got it over, I think from Hawaii or somewhere, it was like there was just the hulls, and they had like a little outboard on it, and someone like came over on it with a literally with like 20 horsepower
ting
outboard.
things. So back to there.
Sorry. Anyway,
Number one.
oh, man, I don't have any number ones, but one massive or a few. Anyway, I'll just go with my heart.
Go. What's within here?
When I was lucky enough to play prom night last year at Elsewhere.
Oh yeah.
And like you, spent many hours on that dance floor. And there are some other DJs on the bill that a bit younger than me, haven't experienced the club as much as often as I had. And I could easily tell that I was so much more like, I'm behind this fucking booth right now. The things I've seen here, watching people play, the early mornings when Stretch used to finish playing Banquet by Block Party. Like,
shout out to Stretch.
Like, dude,
where is that? We're gonna get that guy in.
Like those kind of tunes, hearing them there, seeing Steve Aoki there when he was no one, playing his first version of Warp, and the glass shattering.
I saw true story. I saw Steve Aoki as well when
Warp just came out in Canada at the same time, like before it was big and everything. Before Steve Aoki was the cake throwing guy, it was, and you're just like, what is this ear rape? But it's fantastic at the time. You're like,
that's where it was. That's where everyone was.
And like seeing Van Shee there when I was 18.
Van Shee.
Seeing Van Shee Tech play after them and just playing indie.
Are we allowed to play music? Can we play some Van Shee Tech?
Man, there's some old bangers, hey, but literally just, we can't. Sorry guys, we're on Facebook.
You know
but we do have a Spotify playlist that will put all the tunes on that you do
I
want to
have
listen
some
to.
fantastic Van Shee Tech
we'll
songs.
We'll be adding them to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having the opportunity to be behind the squares and in control, and it was just unbelievable.
It's a very inclusive, just amazing space. Honestly, I probably never played to a dance floor that's more accepting than that space there for sure.
It's a vibe. So yeah, that's definitely one of my just
fantastic, man. That's really good. That's really good.
Now, obviously with everything happening lately, what do you think the biggest thing you miss is not being able to play?
The biggest thing I miss, honestly, is just, it sounds corny, but it's just the music. It's like I drive probably a good 3 hours a day round trip for what I do as a real job. So some people would be like, "Ooh, that's pretty gross," but I'm fortunate enough that I spend hours a day that I get to listen to. Don't worry, there's always music loaded up, ready to go. You know, like festivals or this or that or podcasts or you know Circle Loco's latest set or whatever it is. So I spend so much time, you know. And then you got you know gym and everything else, and then when I'm in the office, I try and put some music on. But I just spend so many hours a day listening to music, and when I find something, I'm like, holy wow, every time I hear something really cool, I want to share it.
Yeah,
I just want to just play it and just share the music. I think that's the thing I miss. Like obviously I miss the people. There's a lot of really, really cool people I've met, been fortunate enough to meet through this whole experience. But I I miss sharing the music. I miss those connections through music. Like, you know, when you play something and someone's just like, man,
we lock eyes, or
they're just like, this, I really enjoy this. You know, what is it? And I'm never like, oh, I'm not going to tell you, this is my secret.
Yeah, this is my arsenal of tracks.
I spend a lot of time trying to find things that aren't released or that people don't have, and messaging and contacting the DJs that made them or whatever, and try and find what it is, and they'll send me a file and I'll try and play it out, or I'll rip it. I'll go down to Melbourne. There's a really cool vinyl store there, a record store there, and I get a lot of vinyls there from Steve at Profile Music, and that's where the guys from Boogs from Revs go.
Yeah,
so it's actually a friend again through Ollie's that he introduced me, and I'll go down there and I'll listen to vinyls, and try and rip a lot of stuff that that isn't available, that you can't get, and I'm always willing to share as much of that as I can.
Yeah, no, I think
in a very legal way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, man, like you hollering to me over the decks, like it's so positive to see people that are just happy to kind of share the vibes and not be so.
Well, the thing is, man, like we no one's perfect. Like we've all had. Let's talk about train wrecks. Let me take this conversation a little bit off to the course.
Yeah, perfect. Right? Take it away.
Let's talk. Tell me about your absolute biggest, because we've all had them. Absolute biggest train wreck.
And to be honest, like I've played that many times and probably train wrecked that many songs that there's no.
See, and this is what an honest man. What a lovely, honest man with a lovely stripy shirt.
Well, dude, we had to. Well, it's a shit shirt. Disco. But anyway, we had to play, dude, when you'd have a folder full of 600 CDs that weren't BPMing or record boxing.
Yeah, I've got them at home for sure.
Yeah, like it wasn't like.
And then you get halfway through and it'd be like, "You're listening to Sirius XM." Did that ever happen?
No,
and you're like,
I would never read songs.
Damn you, LimeWire.
Oh, then it'd be shout out to LimeWire. Hey.
I was listening to a mix the other day, and no shit, I was driving. I haven't heard this for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You're listening to Sirius XM.
At least that sounds professional. What about when it was like, yo, this is a J42 rip, thanks, yo. And you just be like, what?
You're like, I really should have listened to that whole song, like before I ripped it off that LimeWire or whatever. Not that anyone ever did that, but
yeah, no.
So yeah, come on, there has to be like one train where you're just like, oh man, I can't believe that happened.
I honestly, I haven't got one that sticks in my mind because I've always been very upfront about it, and because I haven't.
It happens. It's like you're playing an instrument and you hit the wrong note. Like, who cares? Move on. Man.
I feel like because I'm a bit more like, sorry guys, I'm actually trying to DJ instead of just having everything.
And I you know what actually when I'm at a club or whatever, and you actually hear a mistake, or even at a festival. I think the coolest thing about hearing someone make a mistake is that they're actually pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Like any of us can sit there and we can press buttons and we can beat we beat match in and out 8 bars, 16 bars, whatever it be, right? But if you're actually pushing the envelope and you're mixing 3 decks and you got this going on here and you know what's going on there and you've looped the bass over there and you're trying to do this thing over there, that's when shit goes. I just
remembered one
bad. See, and respect to that. Yeah. If you're somewhere and they're pushing the envelope, they're trying to do something crazy, and they make a mistake. Cool, great. They're pushing the envelope.
So this is great. This actually all ties into everything so fantastically. Not rhythm and rhyme. What's the other one?
Grass is greener.
No. Over on the island.
On the Sin.
Island of Sin.
Do you know I ran that?
Yeah. This is why it's all turning in.
With my brother. Shout out to DJ Treadman.
Before that, when Paul owned it.
Yes, Paul.
Right?
Yeah, we took it after Paul.
Right. I know. That's right. Anyway, it all ties in. So I either came on after your brother or Darren Somerville. All right?
Yep.
And I hadn't used...
You know what I like about Darren is hats. He's always got a nice hat on.
Mate, great hat disco.
I saw him at Store DJ a little while back.
Yeah, he used to work
Wasn't wearing a hat.
Did you know him?
I didn't really recognise until later.
Anyway. So, I took over. It was either from Darren
probably not.
or your brother, right? Because I used to rent gear off your brother for years and years ago. Like,
used to buy gear off my brother.
I used to rent gear off your brother.
Well, you can't give it
all
back.
the way back to Gold Coast Lights sound days. That's how far.
I remember that. Yep.
So they were playing on 2000s, and I'd never used 2000s before, and they were beat matched. They were synced.
Oh, sync. Yep. You press the sync button.
Yes, they
do that for you.
They were synced. And
that you synced them. Well, they weren't synced. They don't sync themselves. Like someone has to sync them.
So the person that played before me, who was either your brother or Darren, they were synced. And
yeah, that's fine.
You're not waiting for where I'm coming from.
I'm waiting.
So then I go to play, and I'm starting off my set with a Kendrick Lamar track, which is half that BPM.
Syncing itself.
And it's syncing itself. And I go to play it thinking, I'm just on decks. I've done this. Martin had a dream. Kendrick had a dream. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. Here we are. So shout out to that. It was either Darren or your brother. And I just remember being like...
Who was it? We'll take a poll.
I just remember being like, there's nothing I can fucking do here. There is nothing I can do here.
There's some shout outs here to the old... do you remember
SAR
the
Club?
old
Not at all, my dude.
Club?
It's actually SNR Club.
Well, it's SNR, which stands for Search and Rescue.
Oh, Search or Search?
Search and Rescue. Search and Rescue Club. Yep. And that shit was...
Mate, I spent some time up those steps.
Did you used to go there?
I used to go there, listen to Electro, Andy Dex on.
Okay, well, Andy Dex?
Yeah, you like that?
I mean, I know Andy Dex. Yeah, I used to play there back in the day when the sprinklers were going off and someone kicked the toilet off the wall and the whole place was filling with sewage.
How lovely.
And the strobe light was stuck on and someone had a epileptic fit on the ground. I'm not trying to be funny here, but that was an actual true story.
Man, that's
the kind of shit that happened at SAR Club.
Yeah, and some other things.
It was a terrible but beautiful place.
I remember going there and there were like cheaps were really cheap. Sorry, drinks were cheap.
Chinks were really drink.
Drinks are really cheap.
This is what happens when you...
Yeah, this is why I don't usually drink.
Here we go. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, lot. And I remember going there and there was some kind of weird... Always got to take a sip after you cheers. There was like a weird champagne and orange kind of drink that people were smashing.
Lots of weird things.
And I remember being like, man, that is not for me. But on top of that, your brother or Darren Somerville train wrecked.
He's blaming you guys. It's got nothing to do with Jack. You know what? The thing is, kids, if ever you make a mistake when you're DJing, always blame the DJ before you. If there's one thing I've learned. Always blame the DJ.
It's definitely my fault, so I had no idea how to fix the problem on the 2000s.
But either way, it's still not his fault because it's the guy before him, and that's what you need to know.
So anyway, that's it's so train funny. Wreck. That's 100% my train wreck. Shout out Paul for booking me on that bad boy and let me train wreck.
Quickly, I'll tell you one train wreck was absolutely fantastic. I thought I played it at a underground. Well, no, not even underground. It was actually just literally underground, but the music was far from underground. Club a few years back called, many years back, called Shuffle, and it was a bit of a banger club, but it was in that banger period. You know, it was kind of fun.
The old MPs, the new scene, the bedroom, I think's been moved in.
Whatever, and I was the old 1, 2, jump up and down, and as I jump, no shit, like I'm back from the decks, my headphone cord has done like a full loop, like a skipping rope.
And what hit
the play button?
Yes.
1, 2, whoop whoop. That wasn't the song I'm playing, obviously. That's just for a comedic effect. Yeah. Hit the button, music stops.
No.
Yeah. Best train wreck I've had.
Man, that's not a train wreck. That's a front-on collision.
It's self-induced.
Oh man, that's now. I'm not going to skip over this. How'd you break your ankle elsewhere?
Apparently, every now and then, Lotnnic, he likes to partake in the odd whiskey or two, and if you haven't been to elsewhere, towards the entrance side of where the decks are, there's a little step down. Yep. It's still there. Health and safety hazard, haven't removed it, still there. But anyway, if you don't know where it is, you probably will miss it. Yep. So I think I obviously did not know where that was, yep. And I stepped down there, twisted my ankle. That hurt, but obviously I was fairly drunk at the time, so I thought, shake it off, walk it off, which is actually terrible advice for someone who's twisted their ankle. Yeah, walk it off.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine. And then saw the rest of the night out, and the next day I looked down, I'm like, oh wow, that's very swollen.
Was it noticeable? Obviously, yeah.
Well, yeah, it was huge.
So that's when you retired.
I was in a moon boot for like 2 months.
Wow, and that ended your soccer career.
It didn't snap things, but it twisted and pulled a whole bunch of ligaments and tendons. So I didn't have to get a cast as such, but I had to get a moon wow. That's a very memorable. I've only broken things when I've DJ'd, so it's a very memorable
Well, you'll always remember your first gig.
At Elsewhere.
Yeah.
By my immobility in my right foot.
Now, are there any songs at the moment that really, get you in the feels?
I'm not allowed to play them, so there's no point really talking about it. But we can add it to the playlist.
Yeah,
right
we can add it
after.
to the playlist.
So
look how fidgety he's getting. He's now facing me.
shout out to no. There was a song I wrote down. It's a really old. It's a Tommy Holohan.
Okay.
Right. It's an old school rave song. It's called Super Impreza, and it's an absolute weapon.
Yeah.
But it's just that really ravey
Yeah.
vibe. This man, like as we said, like there's so many songs I'm always vibing from deep to disco to techno. I just I got playlists and play.
Yeah.
Like as I said, I spend so many hours a day listening to music. I'm like Shazam, Snapchat.
Yeah.
Well, not Snapchat. It doesn't do anything, does it? Shazam, screenshot.
Yeah.
Save. Find the song. Track list.
Perfect.
Tracklist.com.au, whatever that one is. Like
Songs
I'm always
that sound like this.
songs that sound like that. So I'm always finding every day, man. It's almost to a point where it's like almost an OCD obsession where it sometimes removes the enjoyment out of music because I'm always listening to music like, is it good? Is it bad? Would I play it? Would I like it? Would
100%.
I save it? Would I download it?
What moment could I drop this?
What moment could I drop this? Would this work? Would it not work? Could I use that sample? It's sometimes I got to remind myself, just relax, just listen to the music.
Yeah, just enjoy it.
It's fine. It's just music.
Now, we've come to one of my favorite moments of the show.
Yep. Oh, the bebop.
For those that are just tuning in for the first time, this is called Silly Sausage. It's the equivalent of Bop It. Now, we have every artist each week have a go, and the highest score at the end is probably going to win something incredible, maybe a shit shirt. I'm going to say it's probably a shit shirt.
Shit shirt.
Now, I actually didn't realize we had an athlete with unbelievable hand-eye coordination,
but no ankle mobility.
So let's see.
Silly sausage.
Let's see how he goes. I think the winner so far.
Can we play a song first?
No. You can play a song after the sausage.
Okay, we'll play a song after the sausage. Why do I have to go first?
Well, I don't do it, man. This is...
So you just make fun of your guests.
No, but why would I do
know
it?
what you're trying to do. You're trying to rope us into the thing where it does tug. It says, tug me! Tug me! I've played this game before.
Yeah,
Not in this
hasn't
essence,
been on live stream either, so you'll get some clicks.
Here we go.
Now,
Your
press
boy Lotnnic having a little bit of a tug online. There we go.
Now press that. And
Wait, so I go first and you go after me.
I don't do it, man.
How are we going to do a high score if it's not
It's out of all the guests that have been on the show.
So what's the high score so far?
It was last week, I think. I think Tiny from Free the Genie got like 40 something.
Okay, well I know for a fact that I cannot get 40.
I honestly think you will.
So I would rather compete with you, Jack Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack will go first.
No one wants to see this.
No, we would. I feel like he's practiced for years. Not necessarily. Ready?
Single. The high score is 50.
50? That's ridiculous.
To start.
You guys are going to be bored by this.
Dip me. Twist me. Stretch me. Stretch me. Twist me. Dip me. Shake me. Pump me. Dip me. Pump me. Shake me.
You are too good at this, Jack. Jack, no one can compete with you. This is ridiculous.
Dip me. Stretch me. Dip me. Shake me. Pump me. Dip me. Stretch me. Twist me. Stretch me. Stretch
We'll be back after this message from our sponsors. I can't believe it's not butter. When you want butter, but you actually don't want real butter. I can't believe
Now I'm that far in.
it's
I've got to
not
keep going.
butter. What are you up to, like 73?
Oh,
There we go. What was that? 3. He got 3, guys.
Your score is 35.
35. How good's that? Well, this show took a turn.
Me. Play again.
Oh, but this is why do I have to go after
No,
you?
because
All right, let me get comfortable.
Alright, you do that and I'm going to get some laughs.
Stretch me. Dip me.
What's this? What's the third thing?
Now.
That's a warm up. That's a warm up. Practice roll. Practice roll. What?
Me to play
Shout out to Iku for the ice trays. Thank you.
Dip me. Stretch me. Stretch me. Pump me.
Okay, get one more. 3 turns. That's what everyone
I
gets.
feel like that was number 2.
5.
Nah, that's 5. That's pretty good.
Play again. Silly sausage.
The
Everyone,
silliest.
can you be quiet? I'm trying to listen to Silly Sausage.
Hot dog. Single. The high score is 50.
Yeah, no, don't brag about it, Sausage.
Just shake me.
No, I wasn't ready for that one. We're going to one more. Eh?
First. Poke me to play again. Poke me.
That's
Oh no.
Boy, I'm poking, aren't I?
that's not poke. Poke's the button. You know this.
All right, one more time. That's it. That's all we get. One more
We
time.
did this before when we started.
Poke me.
You're doing the same thing. Poke is the fun.
Nobody knows it's provocative.
Shake me. Dip me. Stretch me. Twist me. Dip me. Stretch me. Stretch me. Stretch me. Shake me. Poke me. Stretch me. Poke me. Dip me.
Dip.
You grew me. Yours.
You did well, my dude.
12. I feel like that's
not the worst.
probably higher than someone who has no arms could do.
You're correct. You aren't the worst, so I'll have to find.
Who is the worst?
I'm not too sure. I don't like to just dog people in, but
Is it just Jesse?
no, I actually didn't have it for season 1, so I'm thinking about going to see all the other DJs and getting them to do it, and we'll see what happened. Dana from DVNA, she's like, I just want to beat Bill Durry. That's all she wants. I think she got about 20. Tiny last week did really well.
I feel like I've had a little bit more practice.
Yeah, and also no one else was drinking, so I'll add 10 on for you.
Well, exactly. I feel like I've plus 20. Who else brings you fine whiskey? And even better company.
Would you like some ice?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack.
Now,
Appreciate it.
other than the rave track you were kind of talking about, what songs are you kind of vibing at the moment?
Oh, vibing. Oh, what do we got? Shit, I can't play any of it, can I? Oh,
I need a do-over. Who's that?
I need. See, someone's keen for a do-over. Oh, who is? Wait, that's. Oh, it's just Jesse. Sorry, Jesse. What did you get to? 6. You loser. What am I vibing at the moment? I don't know. Like, I've actually made a new playlist called just Rave.
Yeah.
It's just lots of ravey stuff. Like the new Kink album's great, and just like those just like piano-y, big house piano-y vibes.
Yeah.
Like the all right, how long we got? Here's the story.
Right. We're going over.
We'll just keep going. We're going over. I've got a really cool story, and I actually wrote this down so I could make sure I didn't miss the finer details of this. I was like, I have to talk about this.
Is this about the rave loop?
This is about the rave loop, the
Yeah,
breakbeat rave loop, which is obviously a fair bit about what I'm really enjoying at the moment. So everyone knows that like breakbeat. How do I play? Yeah, how do I play? Can I play this into that without?
Yeah, dude.
It's not copyright music.
You won't
so
be able to hear it, but
can we hear that? There we go. Does it play?
Yeah.
You guys hear that? Oh, there we go.
Stop talking. You might want to turn it up a tiny bit on your laptop and they can hear it properly. Yeah, go on. So tell us about it.
So here's a little thing I came across when.
Who's that?
Well, a
Oh
little
my
while ago,
god,
but-
Clint! They know you're getting drunk. That's your miss, isn't it?
Oh my god. Oh, that's my wife.
Yeah, that's all right.
So there's a 1969 track called Amen Brother.
Okay.
Right. This is a really cool story.
No, I'm down. I'm looking
So
at the.
it's by a group called the Winstons.
Yes.
Right. So they released an album, and the A side, I think it won a bunch of awards, whatever. And the B side, it had this song on it called Amen Brother.
Okay.
Right. So there's a drummer in the band. He plays this loop, the one we just
Yep.
played there, right?
Yep.
This became the absolute. No one had ever played that loop before, like that, like
Yeah.
right. So it's like it's in Skrillex, it's in Prince, it's in
Prince, do we
so
have
much
time?
drum and bass. This thing is just huge, right? So this was like 1970. No one ever picked up on it. Someone made like a mix, a sample tape to write all this stuff. Like it's like sample tape for DJs, right? So one of the songs was this breakbeat loop, and yeah, so move on, like, whatever, how many years till we're now, like 2020, 2015, 16, 17.
Yep.
Someone goes, you know what, we need to reward this drummer guy. So they said it's like this, was like
GoFundMe.
like GoFundMe, and they raised like $60,000 for this dude, for this guy who was a drummer back then. And obviously you don't have perspective on this thing because we can't hear the
Yeah,
sound.
so pretty
here,
much
but-
it's two dudes and they look like they're in the same outfits you'd wear.
no, but you,
No, well, you know when you go to that place in Surface in your time zone, you get dressed up in the olden day photos.
you need, but you,
But you need to hear the loop.
Is that not what I'm saying?
Once you hear the loop, which
Yeah.
everyone's already heard, but
Yeah.
you haven't heard yet,
Yeah.
Jack. Once you hear the loop, you understand it's iconic.
Iconic.
It's
I'll listen to it after
absolutely
this.
iconic.
Yeah.
you would have heard this loop
Tens of thousands of times.
Yeah.
So, feel good story to end on. They made this GoFundMe, and all these people chucked music, all this
sick.
money in for this guy who made this loop. He was a drummer. He just ad-libbed in a drum solo, and it became massive. And they've used it hundreds of thousands.
That's so out of control. It just shows like the world we live in now that can be the whiskey got him, I think. Now, if all things went to plan, let's take COVID out of the picture. Where do you see your DJ and your brand being in, say, a year?
Look, to be honest, man, I really hope as soon as possible we can all just, you know, get back to normal life and
boogie.
yeah, just boogie. I mean, I obviously miss all my comrades and friends at Elsewhere, all the patrons, the music, the sound system, the people, the owners, Simo and Benny and everyone else. So as long as we can, you know, as soon as we can get back to normality. I don't, you know, that's where I see my immediate to longer term future is just being back in the club, enjoying, you know, it's like, it is what it is. Let's have fun, see where it goes, and let's just have a good time and dance on the dance floor and watch the sunrise.
Yeah, oh, mate.
Absolutely right.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Now, if there was one song you had to hear for the rest of your life on repeat,
Oh, well, okay, so,
other than the loop,
can I play another song? No, we can't, because we
no.
can't do the copyright thing, right? I went on to my hold on, my computer's frozen. Oh, that's awkward, isn't it? There we go.
shout out to Mac.
Shout out to Matt, my boy.
Must be a really influential song if you can remember.
No, my computer's frozen. Just won't do. Just won't do. Just
just won't do without you.
Tim, I think it's Tim Deluxe remix. I went into my Mac and I was like, all right, I have no idea what my favorite song is, but I was like, DJ Count, top of the list.
Yeah.
Na, 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 na,
Mate,
na,
what an old tune, hey? That's so
and that fits nearly every time you'll be playing anyway. They cannot see.
Yeah, there it
All
is.
the guys that are cuter.
Oh man. So if I was to go out to your car right now, obviously you didn't drive. If I was to go,
I
if
did
you,
not.
if you were to go into your car,
I thought about it. No, did not.
option.
Did not.
Now,
Never drink
you
drive.
plug in your phone, you turn on your car. What's turning on?
Nothing.
Oh, no, the last thing I played was Mixcloud.
Yeah.
In the Mood, episode 328 by Nicole Mudabar.
Lovely.
A little techno
Yeah, just another
naughtiness. And you know what? Actually, this was super fun because it's not her usual like just banging techno. It was really vibey. It's good. We'll post that up on the. We'll put that on the Jack site.
Yeah, we'll put it on the playlist.
Yeah, put that on Jack's site.
Now, I didn't put this question through to you because I kind of just thought of it during the week. So, say there was going to be a Mount Clintmore.
That sounds very interesting, doesn't it?
like a Mount Rushmore.
Beep
for
it,
those that didn't get
bop it, twist it, yank it.
Who would the three people on your Mount Rushmore be?
The three people. Three people. Is one myself or is it
Well,
just
the fourth's
other-
you.
Okay, well that's a really good way to look at it, isn't it, Jack? Three other people. Well, obviously, number one, my wife Elise.
Yep.
She's always there, good time, having a great time, messaging us, going, "Oh my God, Clan, stop talking! Look at that." So Elise is there.
The best ones always do.
Oh Jesus, I'd have to go as well for my very, very, very good best friend and mate, who is just always there for a good time, is Benny, Big Benny.
Yeah.
Big Benny, always there for a good time. Love him so much. And then you know what? Third's a little curveball there. It's a newer friend. It's probably within the last 6 or 9 months. But you know what? The thing is about music, it doesn't matter how old you are.
100%.
You can vibe.
I could be 80, I could be 10. And
Yeah.
if we're vibing on the same level, you know that, right? So the third friend is my good fucking friend, Ollie. And he's
Shout out to Mr. Mood Mod.
Mr. Mood Mod. And I meant to wear his shirt tonight, but I forgot, right? So sorry, Ollie, but he's probably a good 8, 9, 10 years ago. And every weekend we catch up and we DJ and we play vinyls and we share good times.
Just hang out.
And we just hang out. We have very similar music tastes, and it just goes to show that that music just connects, right? It's just so Ollie, Benny, my gorgeous wife.
Unreal, mate. Fantastic
Thank
answer. Now, Lotnnic, Clint, thank you so much for coming on the show,
Thank you,
dude.
bro.
Thank you for
Thank you, man.
thank you for wetting the whistle. Cheers.
It's very wet.
Big shout out to everyone that tuned in today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Obviously, the whole point of this was to try and connect you
Ollie,
guys.
Mood Modifier.
There's Mr. Mood
There's
Modifier.
Mr. Mood Modifier. Love you. Love you too, Ollie.
Has he got 2 accounts, Ollie?
Yeah, he's got 2 accounts. He's racking up the views.
Yeah, good on you.
Good on you, Ollie.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, guys. I'm going to have about 3 more episodes in this season, have a bit of a break, and then kick off season 3 soon.
Before we go, can I just say this the reason I wanted to get involved in tonight is I think this kind of stuff is absolutely fantastic. You know, it's not.
Thank you.
We're not just going out, we're getting pissed, we're, doing this and doing that. This is a really good time, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you for adding to the scene.
Thank you very much.
This kind of stuff, it adds to the scene, it adds to the people, it adds to the culture, it adds to the respect and the cohesion and all that stuff in between. So, thank you, man.
No, it does mean a lot.
Absolutely,
man.
appreciate it.
Obviously, during COVID and stuff, and obviously I'm going to keep this going afterwards, but I just didn't want to have a disconnect between all the rad artists on the Gold Coast that don't get enough credit for what they do. Because I think
It's nothing about us. It's about the scene. It's about the music. About the people. So, if anyone ever wants to hit me up, what song did you play? What song are you liking? I'll send you some shit you've never heard before.
I love that. I love that. That's really good because not enough people do that. Once again, thanks for coming on, my dude.
Absolutely.
We're gonna
Thank
put
you.
all the tracks onto the Spotify playlist, the music that made you. Oh, look, he's checking the messages. He's getting some DMs now. I think the first one is kick on question mark.
Shit is going off.
Now, once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Next week, I'm going to have Patrick from the band Chutney on. They've got some live gigs starting up in the next few weeks. Got an EP launch up in Brisbane. I'm super excited about that. They got some new video clips out too, so that should be radical. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Now, got anyone you want to say goodbye to? Shout out to? Thank you.
Shout out to my mum who made me practice 2 hours every day in classical music.
100%. 100%.
And my dad who supported that financially.
You're the real MVP, Dad. Once again,
Shout out to all the crew elsewhere. We love you. We miss you. And we can't wait to be back and hugging each other and just vibing on that absolute dance floor.
Let's get those squares popping, guys. They need to be clean shined and
clean shine. And they have been clean shine and a few little, tinkles around the place.
Cody's been in the club putting a few little sprinkles on top.
Cody's been painting a few things.
Ooh, very nice.
You have to wait and see. You have to wait and see.
Well, once again, guys, thanks for tuning into the music that made you. Have a fantastic Wednesday evening, and we'll see you. Oh, actually, shout out to the show's sponsor. Obviously, all Clint's fantastic whiskey, but Iku in Burley always supply me with.
You know what? Iku is the absolute vibe. If you want to go somewhere, have a good dinner. I know we're meant to go. If you want to go somewhere, have a good dinner and listen to some good bloody music, go to Iku.
Sunday nights, baby.
Sunday nights. This guy.
See you, my dudes. Have a fantastic night.
Thank
Thanks
you so
for
much.
tuning in.
Thanks, guys.